The Midnight Menace, Part 1, The Catalyst and the Dead of Night. In the quiet suburb of Willowridge, the evenings were usually serene, a sanctuary of stillness, interrupted only by the chirp of crickets and the occasional rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. The houses sat in neat rows, their manicured lawns a testament to the neighborhood's pride. But that peace shattered the moment Eleanor Carlisle received the letter. "Violation for unkempt lawn," the paper read, in bold, official lettering.
Eleanor's hands trembled as she clutched the letter. She'd always been suspicious of her neighbors, convinced that they whispered about her behind closed doors. She rarely ventured outside during the day, preferring the solitude of her home and the anonymity of nighttime strolls. But this was a declaration of war.
The letter had come from the Homeowners Association, HOA, citing excessive weed growth on her front yard. Eleanor's lawn was admittedly patchy, with wild grass sprouting unevenly in clumps. But she didn't believe this was about the weeds. No, she was certain one of her neighbors had filed a complaint. Sitting in her dimly lit kitchen that evening, she scribbled a list of suspects on a napkin. Each name brought a fresh wave of bitterness as she sipped her coffee, cold and bitter, much like her mood. What Eleanor didn't know was that every house in Willowridge had received a similar letter that day. A new HOA directive had targeted minor infractions across the board: weeds, improperly stored trash bins, faded paint. It wasn't personal, but to Eleanor it was. She believed she was the sole target of the neighborhood's ire. She believed the neighborhood was out to get her. That night, as rain poured from the heavens in heavy sheets, Eleanor began her vigil. Draped in a threadbare raincoat, she pedaled her rusted bicycle through the darkened streets. Her silver hair clung to her face, and water dripped from the brim of her hood as her sharp eyes scanned every house. Her neighbors' windows were dark, their curtains drawn, but Eleanor saw shadows where none existed. Every creak of a branch, every gust of wind felt like confirmation of her suspicions. Ben Turner, a man who fancied a late-night smoke, stepped onto his porch and froze mid-drag. There she was, gliding silently past his driveway on her old bike. Her gaze caught his for a brief, chilling moment before she disappeared into the rain, her figure swallowed by the storm. "Honey," Ben muttered, his voice barely above a whisper as he flicked his cigarette into the wet grass. "I think Eleanor's lost it." But Eleanor wasn't just watching. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, she revved up her ancient lawnmower at precisely 4 a.m. The engine sputtered to life, its growl shattering the pre-dawn silence. Eleanor marched across her yard, the mower's uneven hum echoing through the neighborhood. Her face was set in grim determination, as though taming the grass would silence her demons. Lights flicked on in nearby houses as confused and groggy neighbors peered out their windows. "She's mowing now," Julie Peterson groaned, rubbing her temples.
But that was just the beginning. Over the next week, strange things began happening. Trash cans were tipped over in the dead of night, their contents strewn across driveways. Mailboxes were left ajar, their letters soaked by morning dew. A mysterious "for sale" sign appeared in front of the Rodriguez family's house, sparking bewildered gossip. Yet the most disturbing incident occurred 3 nights later.